Wi-Fi?
Yeah, because I do got a Wi-Fi connected. The connection would
With
be better.
that,
Is it affecting it in any way?
we're telling them. Well, we're on now. We're recorded.
Okay.
Mine Ascension, 6 to 22 strands, 7 to 9 ether, U melanin, selenium base, black gods of the planet, with the black light order here. You know, top student, protege, ready to take over the game. Yes, we're not even waiting for anybody because this is not about them. This is about us and this personal exchange and tapping in and you asking what's on your mind and us exchanging between each other. So, you know, that's basically what we're doing right now.
Well, then I'll shoot right away.
So let's get straight into it, brother.
I was thinking about emotions, right? And I wanted to get your take on it. Are emotions more of a result of a chemical aspect within the brain, or is it an expression of the soul?
See? This is why divine exchange is so important. It's a combination. Okay. It's a combination because technically your emotions is a part of your soul. That's why if you notice, if you ever watch any shows or movies, the first thing you notice with somebody who loses their soul they lose their emotions.
Right.
Your empathy is the magnetic part of yourself that emanates from what you refer to as your heart or your heart chakra. So therefore, your emotions are connected to that. They're the emanation from that part of yourself, that inner part of yourself that brings the energy into motion, because you yourself are already energy, but what's put that energy into that motion is that part of yourself, whether you want to call it your soul or whether you want to call it your heart. And that's why we're always talking about the heart, because if you study different ancient Sanskrits, there's two different seats which they call the seat of the soul. One is the pineal and the other is the heart. So yeah, that's an excellent question, and absolutely, and that's why the soul is considered to be more feminine anyway, because if you notice, women have more connection to their emotions than anybody else than man does. It's funny too, ain't nobody, wow. Huh. Well, that just lets you know nobody's following me. But anyway, yes. Yeah, see, this is not my old, this is this page, you know. But yes, that's an excellent question, brother. So yeah, I would say that the emotional to be honest with you, the emotional perspective is really connected to the spirit. The soul is a part that it is affected by, but the spirit is, because to be honest with you, animals can feel a certain level of emotion. You know, dogs cry, dogs whine, and things of that nature. You know,
elephants are really big on emotions.
Yeah, so
they'll cry for.
It's really a spirit perspective, because if you understand, everything has a spirit.
Yeah.
So to correct myself and to be more accurate within my response, the spirit is connected to the emotion, and as we know, the spirit is the energy that emanates everything. Which is why everything has a spirit. Anything that vibrates or moves, the seed that cracks itself open to grow into the tree, you know, the tree itself, every animal, every flower, every whatever you want to call it. That's why it's able to be affected by your own emotions, by the surroundings around it. That's why you can have two plants that are identical plants, but play classical music for one plant and play rock music for another plant. The classical music for one plant is going to allow it to grow more efficiently, because it's reacting to a more energetic perspective based on a more spiritual sense of picking up to that vibration. So to be more accurate and more correct, the emotions are connected to the spirit. Now, because your question was about the soul, I would have to say that the soul, because the soul is still dealing with the emotion. Now, this is great. This is great. To me, the soul is more connected to the intuitive perspective. It's more connected to the empathic and intuitive. There we go. I got it now. Your emotions are nothing but energies within motion, period. So everything has the tendency to have some form of emotion to some extent. Fear is a form of emotion.
Right.
Animals get scared. You see what I'm saying? But when you have that intuitive ability, when you have that empathetic ability to where you can feel someone else's pain, someone else's emotion without even having the experience that they had, that's something that belongs to the soul to some extent, which, by the way, allows so many serial killers and so many different aspects in walks of life to commit levels of genocide. That's why if we look at, I'm not trying to make this about race, but if we look at the European, he is literally the only genocidal group on the planet. And, that's something we really have to take in consideration because, yes,
not having a soul.
Yes, your emotions can drive you to kill. But when you can decimate an entire population based on your own personal benefit or just whatever you might want to call it, that's miscellaneous, that has to come with some disconnection to something that gives you an empathetic connection to that group or that creature or that organism that you are eliminating. So absolutely, brother. So let's put it directly. The soul is connected to the empathic and intuitive part of yourself. The emotions are connected directly to the spirit, which is in everything. And the spirit is the energy that emanates everything. The spirit is the energy that makes the flower grow. The spirit is the energy that moves you constantly. The spirit is the energy that's in the wind. The spirit is movement, period. It's the emanation of all things that are either organic or either elemental. So that was an excellent question, brother. That was an excellent question. I love excellent questions. That was an excellent question. Did I suffice within the response, or can I, how would you say, go a little bit further? I'm glad you see great questions. If you notice, when you asked the question, I responded, but then as I had to contemplate it slightly more, I had to correct myself. And see, that's very rare because I usually get I'm not knocking nothing, but I usually get more, questions that are not to a certain degree. So it's very easy for me to spit something out real quick because it's just already right there. But I had to reevaluate my response because everything is about efficiency and accuracy. If we're going to exchange and learn from each other and teach each other, we have to be efficient within the way we display or in the way we convey a message. And then we have to have accuracy within the answers and within the conclusions that we come up with this exchange. So now I had to really think about it. And wow, I can't believe nobody even came in here. I had to really think about it. But that's great because this is kind of what we wanted anyway. So it's just going to be recorded. But I had to really think about it. And yeah, man, that's excellent, bro. So the soul is connected to the empathic part of yourself and the intuitive part of yourself. And that's another reason why the feminine is so intuitive naturally when she is not imitating the masculine to shut down and block that part of herself that makes her a conduit. So absolutely, excellent question. Let me know if I can expound on anything or anything that doesn't seem to be clear or whatever the case may be.
Well, I think that was a pretty excellent explanation. You did mention it was both the chemical aspect and the
I forgot about that side. I was so enamored with the soul perspective and the connection of the emotion that I completely forgot. Now that's easy. Now that's something that's easy. We're talking about endorphins. We're talking about hormones. We're talking about all these different things that are connected to your pituitary hypothalamus and all this different. As we already know,
the pineal gland is a true master.
Now the pineal gland. The pineal gland is different because the pineal gland regulates every aspect of your body that has to do with your development, your emotions. But see, once again, since it regulates all these different aspects, it's also regulating the pituitary,
right,
which in turn regulates the hypothalamus. So the reason why I'm like right now specifying is because to put it in a certain way, it's almost like, to put it in a certain way, it's almost like the pituitary is the so-called creator or the all. And the pineal, the pineal is like the creator or the all, and the pituitary is the God.
Now,
what I mean by that is the all that we are all within and that we are all of has no judgment. It has no purpose. It has no judgment. It has no goal. It has none of that. But see, gods can have a purpose, have a goal, have a form of focus and direction and all of these different things. Gods have polarities and goddesses as wives and so on and so forth. So it's a more personal perspective, but still with the power of creation. See,
takes it from the pineal gland to be able to express that level of creation.
Yes. So the pineal would be in a form of the all. It doesn't care what the hell you do. Doesn't give a damn. You want to kill somebody, kill somebody. You want to love somebody, love somebody. I don't give a fuck what you do, because it's the source and the center of everything else that's a byproduct. And then the pituitary would be the first God created that sends the signals and sends the directions to the children of God, which would be the hypothalamus. And the rest of the endocrine system, actually.
So so basically what you're saying...
Because remember, all of those are part of the endocrine system.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, we're talking about even the gonads that sit on top of the adrenal gland, I believe is what it's called. All of that part. So you're saying those would be referred to as the children of God.
Those are the children of God. I love where we're going right now.
Okay.
Those are the children of God. The pineal is the all in creator. The pituitary is the first God. Or better yet, we can say, what do they call that again? The Christ No. What is that called again? Oh, gosh, I just had it. But anyway, not to save time. So would be the first God, and then everything else would be demigods, if you want to put it a better way.
Okay.
So, pineal is the creator, pituitary is the God or goddess, to be more accurate. And then the rest are the demigods or the children of the goddess. And once again, as we already know, the pituitary sends the signals to the rest. And that's why, by the way, white people, when they were studying the body of humans and so on and so forth, they realized, they specified for themselves, because once again, they only studied themselves, that the pituitary was the master gland. But then only until the Vietnam War, when they had so many black bodies to autopsy, that they realized that the pineal gland was the master gland of the black body. So basically, they're dealing with the God, we're dealing with the all and the creator. So when they're missing that initial, essential, primordial center part, they're missing something that regulates everything. So therefore, it can go either way. And that's why you have some that can participate in certain aspects that we might feel and look a certain way upon, and then you got some that might not do it. It can go either way. And you see, that's why you have people who are pansexual, this, I like everything. And, there's no regulation. There's no order. There's no alignment. You see what I'm saying? So absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The entirety of they refer to, for them, I think they refer to it the pineal gland, because they do make mention to it, but they refer to it as more of a vestigial organ. Yeah,
okay. I thought you was going to go into the New Age crap. Yes, at that time they called it a vestigial organ, meaning that it had no use, meaning that it was just there to be there, like the tonsils. Like, you see, this is the thing that really kills me about this recessive in mankind. You discover something that has been there and that is there and that has developed in the body. Now, anybody with intelligence and connection to nature will go, why did this develop? And the reason why it's here has to be a specification or a purpose to its existence. Now, just the fact that it might not be doing something now, the only conclusion I'm coming from that is that it's underdeveloped. The same way the prostate gland within the male's body is the underdeveloped uterus. The same way that the nipples on a man stay tiny. The same way if you look at a child's nipples, even when it's on a little girl, she doesn't expand into an areola yet because she's still a child.
Right.
So guess what? The nipple's underdeveloped.
Right.
Once she begins to hit puberty, the areola expands. Ours don't do that because we're already a degenerative aspect. So it stays underdeveloped.
Right.
So because we already start out as a double X naturally, we have the entire design and system of the feminine, but it just never develops. So then now that's what we call man. That's why technically on a deeper level, there isn't two sexes. There's one sex. And we are just the degenerative aspect of the one sex, which is woman. Simple as that. That's why, hearing all of this 76 genders and all this nonsense is really ridiculous because we're talking about one sex with the higher and the lower of the self. Just like you have a higher and a lower as an individual, what we call sex is the woman with her higher and her lower. Her higher is her feminine, her lower is her masculine.
Right.
You see, so absolutely, brother.
It's funny because a lot of the times what they refer to as even like masculine, feminine colors, even red, orange, and yellow, which are representations of the lower chakras, are technically more masculine colors, while the blue, the green, and the purple are more feminine colors, so they speak, and those are the higher ones, they represent the higher chakras.
Which is, I'm glad you brought that up because people think pink is a feminine color, but it's actually a masculine color. Absolutely. Because pink is in the red family.
It's a variation of red, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh wow! Somebody entered. Yes. But please, brother, keep them coming, my brother. Keep them coming. I'm loving this, man. This is really, brother. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've been in the God realm, brother. So right now, you are truly stimulating the subconscious, and I'm very grateful and thankful for it. So give it up, brother. Let's go.
Well, listen. Based off what you just said earlier about the emotions being more connected to the spiritual aspect, the spirit aspect.
Yes, go on.
Okay, yeah. So, in a sense, could we say, and I don't even know how to describe it, so to speak, because we're talking about something so what you call it, intangible. I wouldn't even know how to describe.
Or mundane. What are you referring to right now?
Well, I'm about to tell you right now.
Oh, okay.
Basically, I couldn't even describe the measurement of it because you don't know how to measure it. But how do you describe, how would we say that a woman's soul or spirit is stronger, larger, has more volume than a man? Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm not sure if you understand what I'm saying when I say that.
We're talking about age and accumulation. Because understand, the spirit is a vehicle. See, I'm sorry. Soul. The soul is a vehicle. Your soul collects experiences along the way. So if you have an older soul, you have a more condensed and you have a more concentrated soul. Because it's just like how the old cars were built better and last longer than the new cars. So you have a higher mileage on a 57 Chevy. But guess what? The 57 Chevy still runs better than your damn M3 BMW. That's going to break down in the next 2-3 years and going to have to constantly get oil changes all the time. So what we're talking about is the mileage, the age, the so-called time frame, for lack of a better word, and the concentration of experiences that gain that level of, how would you say, celestial or cosmic wisdom. So the feminine, she's already the first creation. And being the first creation, she has a higher accumulation of experiences and a higher accumulation starting from the front line as you start from the second line. So therefore, she's more condensed with a more concentration of those accumulations through multiple lives, through multiple dimensions, through multiple realms, through multiple celestial bodies, and so on and so forth. Because the soul is a vehicle. The soul is a vehicle for your consciousness the way that the body is a vehicle for your brain. Or for your spirit, you can say that too. So it's a vehicle for consciousness, and as we know, consciousness has no beginning and no end. Right. The only thing that allows the soul to do with that consciousness is to have multiple experiences within different densities. So you're having an experience right now within the third dimensional density.
Right.
And every experience you have right now within the third dimensional density that includes the sensation of your body is an accumulation of energies, experiences, feelings, emotions, and so on and so forth. You carry that with you when you leave this body.
Right.
And this is what they talk about with reincarnation and remembering past lives and blah, 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 which, by the way, is just a much more smaller scale than a celestial and the, how would you say, the Akashic archives. Because the Akashic archives go far beyond this planet. And that's why I'm always talking about how the concept of reincarnation is actually imprisonment. Mm-hmm. Because to reincarnate constantly over and over again on this third dimensional plane on this planet is a prison.
Right.
Because in actuality, your spirit and your soul is supposed to go beyond this planet. So if you keep coming back to this motherfucker, you're not learning the lesson. No. And you're repeating the grade just like a super senior in high school. So, to answer your question, what makes her soul, her spirit, or whatever you want to call the energy that resides within her vessel as the feminine is the concentration and accumulation of experiences, the sensations, and all the different aspects of celestial, cosmic, and global existences that have replayed constantly and reincarnated constantly within her journey within the vehicle that we refer to as the soul.
Okay. So now let me throw this at you now. So because now we're talking about the man and woman, and of course by default we have to acknowledge the anatomical aspect, which is the female anatomy and the male anatomy. Now because the male is the degenerate aspect, does that mean he has absolutely no access to a certain level of that of those?
He can always gain access because we are a part of the all within the all. The difference is he has to work harder to gain it. That's all. If we are all within technically the mind of the all, we have access to everything within the mind of the all. The difference is how close we are to the access of the source of the all. That's all it is. No different. It's like you working in a government building, but yet you only have access to 5 floors.
Okay.
But I work in the same government building. I have access to all floors. And usually that comes with what? Seniority. So we're going back to the soul perspective.
Okay. No problem there, brother. Listen, I think you might have... there was one other little thing, maybe in regards to this aspect. You might have answered it already, though, as far as you saying that everything which has a spirit also reacts, or... Well, I guess react is the proper word. Reacts in response to your own spirit. I guess it was more of a validation, really, because the first thing that came to my mind even was fire, because fire tends to even in a lot of TV depictions, like when you see like anything like a supernatural aspect, someone who's more of a not a pyromaniac, pyrokinesis. There we go. The ability to manipulate flames. There always seems to be a connection with the storyline between your emotions and pyrokinetic, meaning that the more emotional you get, the stronger the flame. But their problem tends to be being in control of the emotion to prevent the fire from going out of control as well. You see what I'm saying? Because the fire is reacting to their spirit. And which, of course, we just connected the fact that it's an emotional aspect, or the spirit's connected to emotion. So the stronger your emotion, the stronger the fire will become in response to your emotion. So, like, I don't know if you ever seen, like, perfect. Well, I guess I can't really think of one because I don't know them by name. I'm not gonna lie. I remember the images, but I cannot seem to recall the name. But what do you think of that, though?
What do I think about it?
Yeah,
I think it's quite accurate. I think first of all, if we notice, anger makes you hot.
Yes, definitely.
Off the bat, you know what I'm saying? So certain emotions create certain temperatures within the body, but then already we have to understand your solar plex is a burning fire dealing with the thermodynamics of fusion within your body. So you're already a walking sun, period. And you got to remember that your body is a concentration of the elements simultaneously living in one within yourself.
Right.
You're made of 70 to 80% water. As you already know, your bones, the marrow within your bones is part of the earth. You have minerals. Minerals are a part of the earth. You're constantly breathing in what we refer to as oxygen, CO2, O3, all of these different things, which is, of course, the air. And then lastly, your solar plexus, which is, of course, the sun plexus, is that thermodynamic perspective that when you're breathing in air, which is ether, is actually becoming a form of combustible within your body. And this is why no matter what, I don't care if I drop you in the middle of freaking Alaska, your body is always generating body heat.
Right.
It might not generate enough to match with the coldness of the environment you might be in, and then you catch what's called hypothermia.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're always emitting heat from the day that you're born to the day that you die. And your body only becomes cold when you die.
After you die, yeah.
You see? So, yeah, I my thoughts on that is that it's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. And the elements live within us. So as long as we are the combination of conscious of the elements being within us and a part of us physically on every level, combined with our true understanding and belief that we can manipulate and control the elements, any one of us, based on what dominates our vessel, can manipulate what correlates with that domination. Meaning, if I'm masculine and I'm fire and my element is fire, I'm more prone to the manipulation of the element of fire. And it will correlate. But the problem is today we don't believe anything. We don't think we can do anything. And that's why I tell people all the time, when you're thinking about that person and then that person calls you, claim that shit. Right. Claim it.
Immediately.
Don't go, what a coincidence. Don't do that, because as soon as you do that, you neutralize the energy. You neutralize the power. And unfortunately, we learned that from Europeans, to neutralize ourselves to the point where nothing works. And then we have to do what? Get a machine. Everything has to be a freaking machine. Everything has to be Wi-Fi. Everything has to be technology. You were telepathic to the point where you never had to write. And because Europeans can't understand this, because they're disconnected to nature and disconnected to the cosmo aspect, they say that you were primitive, but yet you were building structures simultaneously while you didn't write. How does that make any sense?
And they still can't comprehend to this day.
They still can't comprehend to this day. The Dogon of Mali was mapping the stars without a single instrument. And accurate as a motherfucker. And they just don't, their disconnect and their blockage within the combination of that right brain combined with the soul won't allow them to accept certain things that an instrument in a machine can't prove. And what is a machine besides a synthetic secondhand byproduct perspective coming from a mankind who's already disconnected to nature? That's why the highest civilizations had no synthetic technology. Don't get me wrong. When I say this, people get this wrong, but they had technology, but the technology was organic. Right. The perfect example I can give it is if we watch the movie Superman. When he goes back to his, I don't know if he went back to his planet or he was in a cave or something. I forget where he was, but regardless, when he goes to the place that his father left for him, he took a crystal and placed the crystal inside another base crystal, and then he was able to see the memories of his father. That was our technology. When we look at the pyramid, we look at it today and think that it was just all stone. No, it was stone, but it was clad in specific types of crystal and gems, like hematite. Hematite is one of them, but then it had a capstone. There was a capstone on top of it that was able to absorb the rays of the sun and energize certain parts of it inside of the pyramid, which made it a form of generator.
A giant crystal grid.
Exactly. Which made it a form of generator. The same way that if we read the book, The Ankh, and I forget the author, but we read the book, The Ankh, we was able to take energy from the static electricity and the ionic aspect within the air itself. Tesla talks about this stuff. The white boy that they like to worship but hide simultaneously, right, which is quite interesting to me. Well, it makes sense, because if I make you study Tesla as a child, you'll fuck around and build a generator by the time you're fucking 12. Right. And then you what the fuck does Con Ed mean now? So everything is about, wait, what the hell is fossil fuel now? Because we don't need any of that shit. You know, so absolutely, my brother. I mean, everything about existence is about abundance and expansion. So that scarcity has to be created. There's nothing scarce about anything. Everything is in abundance around you. The plants that grow from the earth itself that they call evasive weeds feed you. They're the reason why you can cut down a plant one day and you turn around the next day and it's right back there. That is the design of nature to make sure you always have some form of nourishment and abundance constantly into an infinite perspective. All of this notion that there's no room on the planet and it's overpopulated and where's the food and where's the water? This mother that we live upon is completely abundant. It's just like a mother who's breastfeeding. She doesn't run out of milk. She doesn't run out of milk. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, she's supposed to breastfeed twice as long as they tell her to.
At least 2 years.
At least that's the minimum, because usually in certain indigenous cultures, she breastfeeds until the child's 5.
Yeah.
And then right after that, the child becomes lactose intolerant in the body. So the body will literally reject all milk after that, because it has completed its cycle of development that came from the direct nutrients of where it was created in the first place. Because your entire body, your bone, your flesh, your brain, your soul was created in that womb. So everything you need once you emerge from the womb is within the same vessel. So until you finally hit 4 or 5 years old, now you're ready to start eating all the dumb and bullshit that's going to break down your body. Which is why at our highest levels, we were breatharian and liquidarian. Period. Nothing else. All that food shit came from a fall in us imitating animals. We saw an animal chewing on some shit, and we said, let me chew on some shit. And then we started chewing on some shit. That's why at our highest levels, we didn't have half the organs in our body. You had your
digestive system.
None of that shit existed. That's why if you look at the stomach is nothing but a bloated esophagus. It's your esophagus coming to a point and just expanding at the end. It's not a separate organ.
No.
It became that way over the so-called for lack of a better word, de-evolution of you trying to stuff yourself with things that you weren't designed to be with anyway. And then as the intelligence of the body highly is, because the body is a highly intelligent vessel that tolerates and that conforms to its environments and to your treatments of it.
It's more of an adaptation.
It's an adaptation.
To the more of the toxins that we were adding to our body.
All you had was your pineal gland, your heart, and that's about it. Because remember, your pineal gland was your brain. Your pineal gland was your whole brain at one time. Period. Your pineal gland was your whole brain at one time. That's why you were automatically psychic. You were automatically telepathic. You didn't need to. What the fuck am I writing for? What am I writing for? What am I writing for? That's a fall. That's a degeneration. That's not your higher self. What do you have a stomach for if you don't need to eat? When you do the same thing that a plant does, which is photosynthesis. As long as you have air, as a matter of fact, on an even deeper level, you don't even need the fucking sun. But a lot of humans can't deal with that. Even though there's actual life, and I mean abundant life, that live in the depths of oceans and caves that never see sunlight.
That's right. Yeah.
And they produce themselves. As a matter of fact,
that can even emit its own light.
Damn, you took it right away from me.
It's called the anglerfish.
You took it right away from me. Not just that, but when you go in the depths of certain caves so low, even the rocks start to emanate light. See, everything has a specific design to such higher levels and degrees we can't fathom them, because we're trying to understand them from a European perspective that's not connected to nature or universe, period. So we're constantly within a degenerative state of misunderstanding things and forcing those misunderstandings into boxes of what they should be. So now I break the rock, I take the lion, I steal this animal, I take that animal, I throw him in a cage in a lab, and I go, what That's weird. Why is this animal acting like this? You took it into captivity, you fucking idiot. You're abusing it.
It's reacting to
And then you're going to monitor the abuse and record it as its natural responses. That's why it blows my mind when I hear people, there's gay animals. Motherfucker, if you go to the habitat of a natural animal that has not been removed, that the trees have not been cut down, the forest has not been removed, it doesn't have to migrate from one home to the next, it's not removed from its natural habitat, you will not find none of that shit.
Lila Africa breaks that down too. He even mentioned not only homosexuality, but he also talks about behaviors of masturbation. What was it? Certain types of eating habits, so on and so forth too. But go on.
Law of cause and effect. Right. This is a universal law. This is why, as divine beings and gods, we don't acknowledge nothing but universal law. Everything else is an agreement that you make based upon your superiors within the environment and in the society that you're in. Universal law is universal law. That means that shit goes on past the planet. That means that shit goes on past humans. Mm-hmm. Universal law don't give a fuck about your human shit. That's why there's no love in universal law. Talk about what's love shit. Fuck out of here. There's no love in universal law. Because love is not a universal energy. Love is not a universal anything. And this is why our ancestors and our most indigenous society didn't give a shit about love. You can grow into love. Don't get it twisted. You can grow into love, but the foundation of every relationship is respect. And respect for what? Respect for your
function and anatomy.
And design, which is the anatomy.
Yeah.
And the function. Well, the design denotes function. But I had respect that you were a woman and that you acted like a woman, behaved like a woman, had the energy of a woman, had the feelings of a woman, so on and so forth. You respect the fact that I'm a man, that I have the practice of a man, the needs of the man, a reaction of the man. With that mutual respect, we form a bond. With that bond, we exchange actions, we exchange feelings, we exchange perspectives, behaviors that solidify our connection and camaraderie until, guess what? We fall in love. Well, excuse me, I don't even want to use that term. Because you don't fall in love. We grow in love. Now notice, that's some European shit. Falling in love.
Sounds like destruction.
Head over heels. Head over heels? Where the fuck? Am I fucking rolling down a mountain? What the fuck is going on?
Suicide dive.
Heartbreak. All of this shit. If you notice, everything that they superimpose on you is always painful. It's always violent. Rockabye baby on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. And then the fucking baby falling down the fucking tree. What kind of lullaby is that? Ring around the rosy, pocket full of ashes. As we all fall down. That comes from the plague, by the way.
Yep.
But yes, my brother, let's keep it going because I'm loving this. I'm glad ain't nobody in this motherfucker. I'm loving this.
I'm not gonna lie, that was probably the most.
How long has it been going?
I don't even know. 9:45 now. I think my alarm went off when it came, so it might have been 45 minutes already.
Really? Don't feel like it at all.
So,
I don't think it's been that long.
Maybe about half an hour. Half an hour at the very least.
You think so?
I think so.
Well, that's the thing about it. When you really start exchanging, once again, the illusion of time doesn't exist.
Well, I got the next one. I remember this one. Sharing a little experience here now. I remember it was a while back. I've actually really was abusing my hearing by like listening to music like really too loud and stuff like that. To the point where I actually literally like went deaf in my left ear, and I literally could not hear nothing out of it. Like,
wow.
Now, knock up front, it might have actually been like, for the first time in a long time, like one of the most depressing feelings I've ever had. Like, damn, I cannot hear out this ear. Like, what the fuck? Like, I can't hear, I can't do shit, and I can't listen to music. I can't, it feels off.
It's the balance.
Well, which leads to my next thing: giving your senses a break. This idea, you ever thought about the practice of like just going a certain period of time of not using a specific sense, so to speak.
Oh yeah, it's
and
done
see
constantly.
how that really expands your senses. Because you know what's the crazy part, brother? When I went deaf, and to be honest with you, I kind of made peace with the fact that I was almost never going to hear again out that ear. I really was on that level.
Oh wow. Okay.
I think maybe a month later, the hearing came back, and I swear to God to you, brother, the hearing is actually better than my right ear now.
Okay. Okay.
No joke. It is almost like my body forced it to stop hearing, and then it just came back, and almost as a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think about that?
Just like the body, when we give the body a break from eating, in which we call fasting, that's why if you notice you have
get into that too.
That's why if you notice you have fasting from talking. You have people who fast from speaking. They go into I forgot the specific term they call it, but they go into a time where they don't speak for days to weeks at a time. You see what I'm saying? Oh, a vow of silence. They take a vow of silence. So basically, when you fast, you're allowing your body to concentrate all its, because remember, the body never stops.
Right.
You could be in a freaking coma and the body is still doing everything it needs to do without your consciousness involved. The body is highly intelligent and advanced. So when you stop the aspects of allowing your body to be distracted from the work it has to do from digestion, the work it has to do from your emotions, the work it has to do from your pains and all this. This is why I'm always talking about peeling away humanity. Because once you peel away all those unnecessary aspects of feelings, emotions, expectations, and so on and so forth, every part of you becomes concentrated and it becomes highly advanced even more than it is at the time. So when you refrain from certain aspects of the different sensations or senses of your body, absolutely you can't increase. It's no different than I think we talked about this the other day. It's like if I'm living on a tropical island, you a goddamn islander, you're a Jamaican, you're a Trinidadian, whatever. I drop your ass in the middle of New York City in the winter. What the fuck gonna happen to you? What's the first thing? Blood clot, I'm freezing, and I'm looking at you like, motherfucker, it's 50 degrees. Calm down. What are you talking about? Like it's been 20 degrees. You're cold. I'm freezing, man. I freeze. You see what I'm saying? So once again, the going without increases the and anybody that's ever been on a fast, the first thing that you taste is overwhelming. Of your body.
Right.
So it's just like when you don't communicate with somebody for a certain amount of time and you start talking to them again, it's almost a feeling of nostalgia. If it's a person that you like. If it's somebody you don't like, then it's different. But if it's somebody that you like or that you miss, sometimes you might break down and start crying. Oh my God, you start crying because it becomes so overwhelming because you've gone without it for so long. And the feeling and the sensation has concentrated itself to such a degree that when you finally experience it and you embrace it, it's like an explosion on another level that never felt before because the tolerance was built by the body.
Right.
Because remember, your body is advanced. It's no different than a lot of us who have been around or who come from the hood or whatever the case may be. The person who smokes weed the first time, they are higher than a fucking kite. They're hallucinating. I remember the first time I smoked weed when I was a kid. I was fucking hallucinating. Once you start smoking, though, you're just high after that. You never get the first feeling back. The same thing with crack, the same thing with dope, the same thing with all of that. Because your body has never felt that euphoric or endorphin release that you get the purest form of it. But once you do it 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 1,000 times, now you just need to do it to be regular.
Yeah.
So it's the same aspect dealing with the sensation, the same aspect dealing with different parts of your body. Your body will build a tolerance to where you don't feel the connection as much as you used to. Just like calluses being built on your hand from overworking.
Yeah.
The body is highly intelligent. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to keep conducting yourself within a degenerative aspect of destroying yourself, it's going to protect itself by building a tolerance against what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And now you are what? Functional crackhead. You're a functional alcoholic. You're a functional dope fiend. So it's the same concept when we're dealing with sensations. It's the same concept when we're dealing with a spiritual and emotional perspective. Mm. It's just the difference in what the intentions are while you're doing it. It's just like it's the intentions of your experience of a situation that makes it either traumatic or initiation. See, when I know that my rites of passage, as I put up the thing about rites of passage not too long ago, when I know that I'm going to experience the rites of passage at 12 years old, I'm already mentally prepared for it. So once I experience the rites of passage, it's only an experience of sensations. It's not traumatic. But if I'm getting my ass whooped every day for no fucking reason, and I don't know when my fucking father or my mother's going to bust through my door and bust my ass, now that's traumatic. Because the intentions in my mind is not there to have that experience in the first place.
Right.
But if since I was 7 years old or 6 years old, I've been told that by the time I'm 12, 13, I'm going to have to do this or that, I've already had the intentions built up within myself, which, by the way, remember, a lot of times your body can't tell the difference between something that's so-called real and not real. The same way when you have a dream, you can have the same effect on your body as if it's actually really happening because it doesn't know the difference.
It still feels the same electrical stimulations going throughout the body.
Because the stimulation, the electrical field, and the exchange between neurons has nothing to do with what you call a reality. It's only the law of cause and effect and responses in your body by a specific design. Just like electricity going through wires and you get shocked. Electricity is not mad at you.
That's just how it works.
Fire is not a bad thing. Yeah, fire will burn down your house, but motherfucker, how did you use it?
Right.
See, the elements have no intentions behind them. They only have their function. They only have their design. But see, you as man in consciousness have the ability to put intentions behind things that can actually change the outcome of how they affect you and how they affect the environment.
Right.
And this is why initiation is actually very important, especially for us. That's why technically, even when we're not in a society that teaches initiation and that prepares you for initiation, we all have our own little initiations subconsciously. Because a lot of us as boys, as kids, we got jumped by other boys, or we slap boxed, or we wrestled, or we had a period of time between 7 and 9 or 7 in our preteens where we were constantly falling out of trees. Or we were scraping our knees and playing in the streets. Whatever you want to call it, initiation is the challenge against your sensations, which you refer to as pain. And it prepares you for the tolerance of that so-called pain, which builds courage.
Right.
And that courage builds bravery. So now you've been brought to a certain level of yourself due to your design and your anatomy that makes you prepared into your manhood to face any obstacle without any doubt, any hesitation, and pure confidence. But guess what? Today, we shield boys from all of that.
Right.
So now they're grown-ass men scared to get hurt. They're grown-ass men scared to go against the grain.
Scared to take risks.
But we forced that on our boys when we were in our proper state. Oh shit, you're 7 years old? Okay, you need to learn this and that. Oh shit, you're 14? Throw that nigga in the woods and give him a knife. Come back alive, he's a man. He dies, bitch nigga. And we don't need no bitch niggas in our tribe. So we're glad he's dead. Because we want to weed out the weak.
That's right.
Because we're preserving the genetic aspect of the continuation of the generation of the strongest warriors.
That's right.
But now we're preserving the weakest and rejecting the strongest.
And then breeding more weaker, even weaker men.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's a cycle. The cycle always builds and makes it and concentrates whatever it's producing. So whether that's making men stronger and stronger and stronger, or making them weaker and weaker and weaker. So it goes both ways for sure. But yes.
And they understand that science. That's why they're making you do the opposite of everything. Oh no, let him cry. Let him cry like a baby. It's fine. Then teaching your daughter, stand up for yourself and be strong. Not understanding that every time she shuts down that aspect of her emotions, she shuts down that aspect of her delicacy, she's making herself harder to the point where her ovaries and her entire reproductive system doesn't work the same way anymore. So now she can't have an orgasm. Now it's harder for her to get pregnant. Now all these things start happening that makes her less of what her design made her to be in the first place.
Right.
But guess what? As a man, you can't nurture me into giving birth, because that's not my design. Not. The only thing you're going to do is nurture me into being emotional.
Into submission. That's it.
You're going to emasculate me and create effeminization within my body. That's going to take me out of my design and my purpose as being a protector, a provider, and one who gives structure and order to all situations and environments and circumstances.
That immediately made me think of the video that my sister actually had sent me. I mean, obviously, it's pretty much about the same thing, but I'll show it to you anyway. It's just a short video clip, and that's it. What you call it?
Design denotes function. Universal law, one of those universal laws is the law of cause and effect. There's nothing in existence that you can or can't do that does not have an effect with you being the cause. The only difference is the significance or insignificance that you feel about the situation or the thing or the organism, no matter what it is, that make you dismiss the cause and effect because you personally can't feel it or you personally don't care about it. But everything has a cause and effect. This is why I used to say all the time, and which is part of my teachings, that all food is death. All of it. All of it. Fucking apple every day keeps the doctor away. All food is death, because every time you put something in your body, your body has to digest it. The digestive aspect is a chemicalized aspect, an energetic aspect. This is why fasting is so fucking powerful. Because when you fast, you sleep less. When you fast, you have more energy. When you fast, your body re-energizes and rejuvenates every single organ the longer you fast. Because remember, your body never stops working. So if you go, well, fuck it, I'm not doing shit. You think your body's going to stop doing shit? No. Your body's like, oh shit, you're not doing nothing? I don't have to digest chicken wings anymore. I don't have to digest an apple. I don't have to digest none of that shit. All right, you know what? Let me work on this pancreas. Let me work on this liver. Let me work on this. And then when it goes through the whole cycle, it starts all over again.
It's crazy. I've gone through fasting periods, and at a moment in time during the middle of the day, I feel like a sensation of a highness, or something is just flowing up into my head, and I feel like my head is about to blow with energy. That's how crazy it gets. Like sometimes I literally just like, yo, what the? I feel like I'm spinning, like I'm moving.
There are times when I have fasted, and I felt so full that I thought that I ate and forgot. Like there are times when I fasted, I felt so energetic and so satisfied and so full in my body that I'm like, oh shit, did I black out and eat or something? I'm like, but once again, the food in your body sends signals to your brain. All your pain, all your sensation, all your craving, all your hunger is what? Electrical signals from your brain.
Right.
The electrical signals from your brain are stimulated by what's already in your body.
Right.
When you fast, you're actually evacuating all particles and aspects of leftover food from your body. Now, here's the problem.
Stimulate this so-called hunger.
Here's the problem. A lot of us have decades worth of shit in our body. So even when we try to fast, it don't work because you got a chicken wing from 1993 still stuck in your fucking colon. And the chicken wing is still sending signals to your brain that you want chicken.
Chicken. Yep.
So until you do a colonic first and actually force flush all that shit out of you, then attempt to fast, it'll always be a challenge and a difficulty for you because the particles that's left behind from previous digestions or misdigestions or indigestions is still sending signals to your brain that make you crave that same food. You can't, real food has no craving. You don't crave an apple.
No.
Damn, I'm jonesing for an apple right now. No, you crave shit that has a chemicalized aspect to it that creates an addictive perspective that makes a craving created within your body. The same way when you take a drug. You take the drug for so fucking long, when you're off the drug, you're 10 times worse when you're on it.
Right.
So you've been shooting dope for 10 years. Now you're a functioning heroin addict. Soon as you get off heroin, what happens? You get sick. Mm-hmm. Now the body starts breaking down and you're like, ugh. You get sick trying to get clean. Mm-hmm. You're an alcoholic, been an alcoholic for 20 years. Soon as you don't get your drink, you have the same effects as a heroin addict. Why?
Shit, you can even take it to something more simple that a lot of people never think about. Something like coffee. A lot of people are.
Which is a stimulant.
Yes, it is. And a lot of people drink, and it's only a legal drug. That's the only difference. It's legal, But people, even my own mother who drinks, and she has to drink the coffee at a specific time, and a specific time in the morning. If she waits even 5 minutes, if it's not on that point in time, she gets a headache and cannot function for the rest of the day.
And it's funny because not only does our body conform to our addictions or our malfunctions, but then we affirm it.
Yes.
I had my coffee today. I'm gonna be fucked up all day. I skipped breakfast. Skipped breakfast, nigga? You talking about one tiny little meal for the fucking day? I skipped breakfast. I'm off. Yeah. All day, I skip breakfast. I feel weak. Yeah. I feel lightheaded. Humans are a fucking trip. But you know what? It's really not their fault because they've been conditioned by mankind and by gravitation in the first place. You said you were going to show a video or something?
Yeah. I was just letting you continue to expand there. I was even going to add a little bit because, I come from a Muslim background and we fast on a 30-day period. Well, not a real fast, but, we just don't eat from sun up to sundown. Right. And it's
which is what your natural state should be. I'm sorry. Let me use this bathroom real quick.
Absolutely.
Pardon me. But that is your natural way of lifestyle, eating one meal a day.
Absolutely.
Pardon me, good brother.
No doubt, my brother. Want to crack another one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You know I ain't reached my limit yet, sir.
My good brother. I was gonna go reach one too, but
you want me to? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Definitely. I didn't want to do it in the middle of the video. That's why.
This is reality, brother. We ain't faking nothing.
It's for you.
We ain't faking nothing. Yes, we here, my good brother.
Well, yeah, I was even just gonna say about the fasting thing, even Islamic culture. I know a lot of people. It's funny because that's what was really my practice to get into actual real fasting. But it's funny how just to add to what you were saying as far as this addictive aspect and it being a challenge when you're attempting it for the first time. The hardest part about Ramadan, which is the period in which we fast, is usually the first week because that's when you're first getting off all the chemical shit that you're literally stuffing inside your body every day 3 to 5 times a day, every day, and then you just go. Even for some people, like some people literally cannot function on the first day of Ramadan. They literally they just stay off work, they go to sleep or something. They can't function. Like it's actually funny. It reached a point, and this is even before we met and we really got into this level. But because I've been doing this since I was 13, I think, well maybe 12. I think it was 12.
Oh, we're counting down, brother.
Oh, really?
Wrapping it up. Mind Ascension, Black Light Order. Thankful and grateful. Shout out to the 6 to 22 strand, 7 to 9, either you melanin, selenium based, black family, black gods of this planet. We're wrapping it up now, y'all. Pardon me if I didn't acknowledge y'all because this video wasn't about anybody. This video